Okay, it's time to talk about alt season because I know we are all waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. I am prepared for an alt season, but we haven't seen it at all yet. And we deserve it right now. But is it still coming? And if we maybe do get a left translated cycle, is it maybe different this time? And can we forget about the juicy gains? Let's take a look at a couple of charts that show us what to potentially expect from this. Are we gonna get disappointed, or are the people who are now not expecting it gonna get disappointed? So I just would like to pop up some random charts that I'm looking at today, and I decided, you know what, let me put the camera on and take a look at this together. So what I noticed, what I don't look a lot at, is the bi-monthly charts, right? So the 2-month candles. And if we take a look at Bitcoin on the 2-month candles, and you take a look at the stochastic RSI, which is a momentum indicator, it shows you some top and bottom signals, right? Now, what does it show you? Well, once Bitcoin is sitting at the overbought territory, it doesn't necessarily mean we right away go into a bear market, right? Here we went overbought at January 2017. Yet we had the full year of 2017 basically going up. So if you look at this and be like, yeah, okay, we're now overbought, so let me sell right now, you would have sold Bitcoin at $1,200, $700, anything in between these 2 months. Well, Bitcoin eventually went to 20K. Okay, now we are sitting at the overbought territory as well. Doesn't mean we go down right away, right? Okay, so that's the first thing I would like to take a look at. But we can also apply this on a couple of other charts that show us more about the altcoin market. So let's apply this on the total 3, for example. Now, the total 3 is quite interesting. It has less history, but the total 3 is quite interesting as the total 3 is not even in the overbought territory yet. Okay, so this has a lot of room still to go up. You can also apply this on the others chart, and others is different from the total 3. Total 3 is everything in the market excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, but it still includes, the high caps or the stable coins, which we are not expecting big returns on, especially the high caps and the stable coins, or a combination, which is called XRP. So we can also take a look at others, which is everything outside of the top 10, okay, and also outside of the top 125. Now, if we look at this, we really have a long way to go. We are far from overbought yet. So if we compare where we are right now to the last cycle, which is kind of over here, September 2020, what do you see? That's over here on the chart, right? And what do we have there? Well, we had a pretty decent run up, right? And we had a good red candle right here before the real parabolic run. And that's kind of what we see right here as well. We have a run up and we have some sell-offs before, in my opinion, the parabolic run. Now, that does not define an alt season, of course. An alt season is where altcoins outperform Bitcoin, right? So even if Bitcoin goes to $10,000, but altcoins go up on their Bitcoin pair, which are still probably going down on the dollar pair, it's technically an alt season. Okay, so therefore we want to take a look at others on their Bitcoin pair. And if we take a look at this is a very interesting picture, because here the bi-monthly stochastic RSI is sitting at the oversold territory. Now, that's also a thing. Once you are oversold, you can stay oversold for a long time when the chart at the same time goes down. It's what you see here as well, right? We were oversold here in November 2018. That was here. And still we went down, 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 down. And at a certain point, it started to go up. Well, this at least shows me that we have a lot more upside potential than downside potential. So that shows me like, hey, an alt season is kind of inevitable because we will not do this forever, right? And go down forever. There's no reason why altcoins keep underperforming against Bitcoin. Now, please keep in mind that this is on their Bitcoin pair. This is more important than what altcoins do on the dollar pair. Okay, please know that, right? Because if you maintain value at your Satoshi valuation, at Bitcoin valuation, that's good, because Bitcoin eventually always goes up. Well, if you take a look at the dollar pair, you are sure that the dollar, it goes down in value. So you want to have your assets in something that goes up. And that's Bitcoin. That's not the dollar. We all know that, right? So if altcoins go up against the asset that eventually goes up, yeah, that's a double win. Now, if we take a look at the same chart on a monthly time frame, then it is like it's 2024. We can, of course, compare to 2021, 2019, 2000, whatever. It is 2024. And it is, when it comes to that, not really comparable. Every cycle is eventually the same, but moves different. But if we do compare, then I think so far, as what we see right now, it's most comparable to 2017, 2016, 2017, right? Where we went in the overbought territory, oversold territory, where we were oversold, had a run up until, 80, give or take. That's the bar of the overbought territory, and then go down. That's what we've seen here as well. We were oversold, we ran up, we were close to overbought, we had a good pullback, and then we started the real run. What you see on the chart is that, we go down, bear market, right? We go up pretty hard, and then we have one last hit. Now, it's not that the upwards move this time was pretty hard, but still, we went down, we went up, and now we are resetting. And it would not surprise me if we get back down here and then have our real run. This is on a monthly chart again, so this could take half a year to play out, okay? This is not like, all right, I'm watching this video and I expect my altcoins to go up tomorrow and otherwise I'm suing this Dutch motherfucker. Like, that's not what we're here for, right? This long-term investing. Now, you could take this the other way around as well, and that's by looking at the Bitcoin dominance. The Bitcoin dominance is basically the indicator, is it Bitcoin season or altcoin season, right? Bitcoin dominance going up, Bitcoin season, Bitcoin, you know how that works. If I look at this chart right now, and we also look at the stochastic RSI on the monthly, then it has been overbought for a long time. And you can apply this just as well on these kind of charts, right? If you look right here, the monthly stochastic RSI was overbought, right? And the dominance was sitting here. And while it was overbought, we shot all the way up and altcoins got completely destroyed, demolished, like wrecked against Bitcoin, right? And then we finally cooled off right here and the Bitcoin dominance started to go down and we saw a huge alt season. Okay, now, however, it took from the moment we went into the overbought territory until the moment we got out of it, 22 months. 22 months. It's a long time. It's a long time, dude. Now, if we look how long we are doing this right now, we are sitting at 18 months. It's another 4 months to go if you want to compare it to the previous cycle. Now, it's too easy to say like, well, it was 22 months right here, so it's going to be 22 months right here. I'm a fucking genius. No, of course not. It could happen today. It could happen in 8 months, right? Give or take, this is how it moved last time. We can expect something similar. Also, which is quite interesting in my opinion, if you look at the halvings and how long it took before we got an alt season, here it was 8 months. Here it was 8 months. Right, so if it takes now 8 months from April, then it would put us around the end of this year. And it's just 2 pieces of history, but it's all we have. And so far, that's what we can expect maybe. Also on the bi-monthly, this thing is super overbought. And again, it could stay like that for a while, but at a certain point, it has to cool off. And you can just see what happens during these cool off phases where the stochastic RSI goes down. You see what happens on the chart right here. It takes a massive crash. Now, is this alt season that we can potentially see coming going to be just as big as the alt seasons that we have seen before? Not by far, I think. Not by far. One of the reasons is that we have way more altcoins right now. Right? That's one of the reasons. Second reason is because here, especially in 2017, Bitcoin did not have as much history as what it has right now. Now we can take a look at Bitcoin and the people with some experience already know like, yeah, but okay, this is at least a safe asset. Back in 2017, which was actually the second big run, people still felt like, yeah, It's new. Is it coming back? So altcoins, Bitcoin, all risky. Now we at least know within the crypto space that Bitcoin is relative pretty safe, right? And altcoins are still risky as shit. So that's also the reason why I don't think that the dominance will go down that hard. People will not massively step away from Bitcoin this time, even if it means that they miss out on a lot of gains potentially. For some people, risk is also important, as it should. Something else that could indicate an alt season is Ethereum on its Bitcoin pair, right? Ethereum is the biggest altcoin out there, so that has to perform well in order to see an alt season. So if we do take a look at Ethereum on its Bitcoin pair, it is also showing exactly what lines up with the rest of what we have discussed so far. The bi-monthly RSI, stochastic RSI, sitting at the bottom, right? If this was sitting at the top, it would be a little contradictory, but this is also sitting at the bottom. Also, the pattern is there. It's in a falling wedge, right? And falling wedges eventually break to the upside. At least, usually they do, right? Doesn't mean we cannot keep on falling wedging for a long time and then go up, but eventually I can see that big move up happen. What's also interesting, if you ask me, is if you do take a look at the Bitcoin dominance, but you exclude USDT, USDC, Ethereum, Cardano, and XRP, why those? They all take a huge amount of market cap, and most people don't, like the DJs, they don't really look at these things as a investment for an alt season, right? You're not going to invest in stable coins anyway, so we can write off USDT, USDC, and XRP, but also on my XRP joke, sorry. But also, if you look at XRP, Ethereum, Cardano, they're already super high cap, right? They're super high cap. And people would like to look at the coins that have a little more upside than that. If we do take a look at this chart, then this is the dominance that you get. So the Bitcoin dominance, excluding these coins, topped out in June 2023, right? And we never went higher since then. So the dominance, excluding these high caps, cannot break above already for 1 year, right? So if it wasn't for these coins, you see what happens. You see that the dominance is now going sideways, and this looks like a market structure that we usually, talk about of the 4-year cycle. You have an accumulation phase, uptrend, distribution phase, downtrend. Right? And it looks kind of somewhat like that. Accumulation phase, uptrend, distribution phase, downtrend. Also, it is pretty likely that the Fed is finally going to cut rates this year. And if the money printer turns back on, that is super bullish for risk assets. So it is bullish for Bitcoin in the first place, but within crypto, Bitcoin is not the risky asset. The risky assets are the altcoins. So once that happens, people feel like, okay, let me gamble into altcoins again. So that narrative kind of lines up with what we see on the chart so far. Also, if you take a look at others' dominance, you can see that we are in this major parallel channel, which actually already started here in 2014. Like you can see where we topped, and this was turned, a little top right here as well. And once we got into the channel, that same level turned into support every single time. And by just simply looking at this chart, I don't want to overcomplicate things. I just look at this and be like, bottom or top? And yeah, it's pretty bottom to me, right? We're not the exact bottom, but we're sitting closer to the bottom than the top, of course. Right? So also looking at that, we have a lot of upside. Right? Last two bull markets, we went to the absolute top. Right? There's a chance that that happens again. But even if that doesn't happen, that's still like pretty big. I mean, the altcoin market now dominates 10% of this crypto space. If we go to the top, that's 30%. So we get another 20% of the total crypto market into altcoins. And that's with the current crypto market, the current $2 trillion, right? Let alone once we get closer to the end of 2025 and crypto just goes up in market cap as a whole. There's a lot of money flowing into altcoins. Also, if you look at the RSI on others on the monthly, you can see that, we tried, but, we were flashing right here. We were flashing right here. That's the signal like, okay, guys, you know, it's maybe time to offload a little bit. We were flashing in 2021 as well. Also a signal like, guys, the altcoin market is getting a little overheated. We are not flashing now. We haven't flashed, okay? I'm waiting for the flash. And also, this is very simple, but if you look at the Bitcoin halvings on the altcoin market, right, we overlay those, you see that we have the halving. Altcoin market doesn't really respond well around the halving. Right here, after the halving, it went down pretty hard. But a couple of months, like half a year later, whatever, we saw a parabolic run. Here as well. We had the halving, parabolic run. Now we had the halving. Again, just like 2016, we don't immediately respond very well. But we don't have to. I mean, again, it took half a year right here. Let it take half a year right here. It's fine. Eventually, I expect just as a parabolic, well, not just as parabolic, but the same structure. And maybe this is most important. This is showing the retail, the social metrics, YouTube subscribers, followers, etc. Now, if you look at this, then especially when you think about it, about the altcoin market, it's super interesting because retail gets in. That's the red line. Blue is the Bitcoin price, right? Retail always is a little too late, right? I mean, we have the Bitcoin top right here. And the biggest retail inflow was here, right? So they're always a little too late. But retail is sitting at the bottom at the moment. There's no retail. And that's understandable. Inflation not well, no rate cuts yet. Like the macro is like not there yet, right? And that's the reason why we are in such a good position. Because we can just invest with everybody else right here. Well, what's fun about that, right? We want to invest here. This is always the time where people say like, yeah, no, but this time is different, not coming back. Okay, if you don't have the balls, then you don't gonna invest. It's simple. But I want to grow a community with balls. And I think you guys have them though, right? So we're now sitting at the lows again. But the funny thing is though, that the retail is not going to massively come into Bitcoin. Retail wants these altcoins, right? So once retail steps in, we really see an alt season. Look at this. Here, retail really came in. This was in October, November 2020. October, November 2020, okay? If we go to the altcoin market, October, November 2020, what do you see? That's where the parabolic move for altcoins began. Now, it's funny because if you look at October, November 2020 for Bitcoin, let me go there, that's here, right? So if you look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin already had a huge run, right? Way bigger than that altcoins had. So Bitcoin was running without retail. Just as right now though, right? I mean, we just saw retail is not here, yet Bitcoin is sitting at around 60K. So Bitcoin can, doesn't need it. It holds up right there, sitting at the same low levels of retails where it was over here when Bitcoin was sitting at $8,000. Now the only difference is the same amount of retail, which is barely anything, but a way higher price for Bitcoin. So everything, every chart, every line, but also every piece of common sense to me is pointing out that alt season will come and that altcoins will catch up on Bitcoin and probably by the end of the year. But what else do we need? I think we need to see Bitcoin to burst to its all-time high, and that hasn't happened yet. When it had its all-time high in 2013, broke it in 2017. Bitcoin had its all-time high in 2017, broke it in 2020. Now, Bitcoin had its all-time high in 2021. We peaked above it, but we definitely haven't blasted through it yet. And look how altcoins respond to these moves by Bitcoin. If we look at the altcoin market, we overlay it, you can see that from the moment that Bitcoin broke its all-time high, altcoins really started a parabolic run. Here as well, Bitcoin broke its all-time high and altcoins started their parabolic run. Now, Bitcoin is yet to really break above its all-time high, and I think that that's when altcoins are just ready to start a parabolic run. Last cycle, Bitcoin first had to do a 2x above its previous all-time high in order for altcoins to even go above their previous all-time high. So it all depends on Bitcoin, and Bitcoin depends on the macro. So if you are cheering for an alt season, you better, build some knowledge about the federal rate cuts, presidential elections, money printing, inflation, whatever it might be. I think that that's really what we are going to need again. Now, have we seen some altcoins like Solana outperform Bitcoin in the last year? Sure, but that's a handful, and an alt season is the general altcoin market. Plus, Solana is not as great as you think. Yes, it outperformed Bitcoin, but over the big scheme of things, this is Solana on its Bitcoin pair. It has not outperformed Bitcoin. It's only outperforming because Solana fell way harder than Bitcoin in the first place. Remember, Bitcoin made a new all-time high. Solana had to go up with 50% on its Bitcoin pair to break that all-time high. So this wasn't even close. And if you take a look at a lot of altcoins on their Bitcoin pair, like Matic, yeah, this is not looking like an alt season to me, right? AVAX showed a definitely form of strength, but definitely not an alt season. Illuvium, a project with games that I love, wrecked new lows last week. IMX, strong coin, great fundamentals, at the bottom of the range. VRA had one of the biggest communities out there, made new lows. Ultra, the so-called Steam of crypto, down the drain. Dogecoin, the OG meme coin, at lows. Volker Forge, a layer 1, a launchpad, a gaming studio, this, that, low. Superverse, one of the coins that had biggest outperformances, not even close to its high. Uniswap, the biggest multi-chain DEX out there, went lower than what it was since the beginning. These are relative high caps, okay? So if you look at low caps too much in this market, it's not gonna end well, man. So yes, there will be a point in the market where altcoins will outperform just because they have gotten beat down so extremely hard, and at a certain point people are wrecked enough, they don't believe in it anymore, they don't have money anymore, whatever the reason might be, and then you will see that the money will shift from Bitcoin into altcoins, and we will get that altcoin season. And again, in my opinion, it's likely to happen end of the year, beginning next year, give or take. Can't time that exactly, of course. But that's what I think. And I think we should use the rest of this year that we still have, it will go fast, to accumulate, to learn, to study, to get into new projects which look good, to not get wrecked too much, to prepare for the fact that we can see 40, 50, 60% drawdowns. In the meantime, to work, to DCA, to do anything and everything possible to make sure that we will not waste alt season that we only had twice in crypto's history. The third time is, in my opinion, likely to come. And you're about to not be there because you don't believe it in anymore, or fuck it up by throwing all your money away now already, or the last couple of 2 years. Please, man, please. We are set to make it. And the only job that you have is not fucking it up. That's all you have to do. It's not that hard. So if you are a subscriber to this channel, give it a like, man. Make a second account and like. Okay? That's loyalty. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I think strategies and understanding the market is way more important than just knowing the 10 best coins to buy. That doesn't get you anywhere. Okay? So be a part of the family. I'm happy to have you. Turn the bell notification on. And let me know down below, what do you think? Are we going to get an alt season? When are we going to get it? What might be the best coins to buy or whatever? Let me know. I want your information as well. You're smart people. So thanks for watching and have a lovely day.